Hello, 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 everybody. So, I believe that I'm live in the Tanisha Stewart Readers group. Um, I'll probably share this to my personal page and to my author page as well. But I just wanted to come on here really quick. I didn't really make an announcement for this, but and I kind of forgot I was supposed to do it, but here we are. So, what I want to do is just go live really quickly, just to discuss this Quiet One series that the finale is on its way. So, if you've seen from my thousands of posts that I put up, all the hashtags, etc., you know that the Quiet One series is a six-part series, and the finale, which is the final part, the sixth installment, is supposed to be released on December 20th, which is like 6 days from now. So I wanted to just go live briefly to talk about it for those of you who have started reading the series, as well as for those of you who have not actually started the series. So what is the series about? I'm glad you asked. So the series is about a girl named Shatina, and she kind of has a rough life at first. So she starts off with kind of like a rough life. She's been bullied. She went through all types of different kind of stuff until she finally had enough. And basically the premise to the book, or the backdrop to the book, is what happens when a person who has gone through so much different turmoil with no real solution, what happens when they have enough, and what happens when they not only had enough, but they realize that, or they feel in their hearts that it's time for them to strike back against those who have done them wrong, or those who have made them feel some type of way. So basically, like, that's the overall premise of the story. What happens when the bullied strikes back? What happens when the person who has been the brunt of all the jokes, the brunt of all the ridicule, the brunt of all the things that people have done to them, what happens when they've had enough? What happens when they snap? So so basically that's the point of the story, or that's the premise of the story. So I found like some random questions online, and I'm just gonna go down these and try to answer them to the best of my ability, as it pertains to this series. So the first question is asking what inspired me to write this book or this series. What actually inspired so I'm part of this readers group called ICU Reading and Chatting. The founder is Ebony Evans. If you're on my friends list, you probably see me like corresponding back and forth with her. But her book is called her group is called ICU Reading and Chatting. So she does these things called Freestyle Fridays, where she gives the authors like a challenge. She gives them like a bunch of pictures, and she's like, okay, an author sign up for it, and she's like, all right, just based on these pictures, based on this topic, let it go, freestyle, make up your own story, do whatever. So I don't know what kind of pictures. I don't even remember what kind of pictures was shown that day. But whatever day that was, I think it was like last May or something. The pictures were shown or whatever, and then Shatina's story just started coming to me, and I was like, ooh, this is getting real. This is getting lit. And I had always wanted to write a psychological thriller on top of that. And just so happened that this Freestyle Friday challenge, that particular one, was what sparked this story. So it became my very first psychological thriller. After people have read it, they were like, oh, I actually like that. I feel like you should do more with it. I feel like more could happen with it, especially when it came to like Shatina's nemesis, which you'll meet her nemesis somewhere near the midpoint of the book in the first book of the series, Should Have Thought Twice. So after people met her nemesis, and saw how they interacted, how the twists and turns, and how things went back and forth, they were like, we need more. We need more. We need to see what happens, like what happens with these two. Like, do they go at it again? What happens? Whatever. So it got to the point where I was like, all right, I heard the call. It's time to just put it forth. So then I came up with the second story. And then after the second story, it was like, all right, they're kind of really not done. And then another character was added to the mix. And I was like, okay, now there's a third one, and a fourth one, and a fifth one, and a sixth one. So like now there's like this whole 6-book series that has sprung forth from this, with a possibility of a spinoff, but I don't know. We'll see what happens with that. I'm just trying to get the finale done. So it became like a 6-book series from that first story. So that's basically what inspired the story. The next question is asking, can you tell me about the book or about the series? So basically, I already kind of described it a little bit, but Shatina is a girl who, she's been bullied. She's been put through the storm of the ring. She's been put through the ringer by different peers. People have made fun of her all her life. They make fun of her because of her weight, because of how she looks. She also has a fraternal twin sister who just happens to be popular and just happens to be the one who soaked up all the good looks. All the guys are flocking to her, but Shatina is like just sitting there by herself, like by the wayside. And not only is she sitting by the wayside, she's bearing all these negative remarks from all her peers. So it's like, I'm ostracized, I'm isolated, I've had enough, what am I about to do, basically. So she has this voice that kind of speaks to her, and the voice kind of tells her to do things, and serves as like what she thinks or she perceives as like a friend or a person who's like a confidant, or somebody that that is her comforter. But what she may not realize, at least in the beginning, is that the voice actually is not really that good for her. But by the time she realizes that, she done got herself into a world of trouble. So basically, the voice is kind of directing her in everything that she's doing, and then she ends up listening to the voice, getting herself into trouble, and then I'll let you read the rest of the story from there. So that's basically the idea behind the series and the story itself. What did I learn when writing this book or this series? I learned a lot about different things. So there's a bunch of different like themes within this series. One of the main themes is revenge. So the tagline for the series is "Watch out for the quiet ones. You never know when they might snap." So we probably all have heard that phrase growing up. And the basic idea behind it is, you think that you're messing with this person, and you think that this person will never retaliate. You think that this person will just kind of take whatever your abuse is or whatever the things that you do to them, and they'll just kind of like let it go, and they'll just keep on pressing on or whatever. But sooner or later, if you back a person far enough against the wall, they're going to come out swinging. So watch out for the quiet ones. One day they might snap. What surprised me the most is the next question. What surprised me the most was two things. Number one, that she was actually became as multifaceted as she did throughout the series. So first it kind of starts off with her kind of just getting revenge and having fun while doing so, but then it kind of sweeps into other topics that are much more deep and much more dark, and it kind of explores the trajectory of what happens with revenge and what happens when we actually do take vengeance into our own hands. What are all the implications of that? So that's one of the things that actually surprised me about it. And the other thing is the fact that all these other characters started to take root as well. So not only do we have Shatina, but we also have a whole crew and a whole cast of characters who are dealing with their own set of issues, and they're all dealing with their own stuff, and how their own life trajectories kind of come into the mix, and how they influence Shatina, how she influences them, and how it goes back and forth. So those were the two things that surprised me the most out of this series. Saying, what does the title mean? I kind of explained that already. So the title of the series is the Quiet One series. So it's about, like, backing somebody against the wall, they take their revenge, all the implications. The first book in the series is called Should Have Thought Twice. So that's kind of self-explanatory too. So the person is coming after you, they're bullying you, they're messing with you, but sometimes you need to think twice about that, because you never know what kind of ramifications are going to come with that. Let's see. The next one is asking, was the character inspired by a real person? I wouldn't say it's necessarily inspired by a real person per se, but I will say that there was some real life experience that was kind of poured into Shatina's character, at least in the beginning. So we probably have all, like, kids are cruel. So like, if you've been around, unless you were like the popular child from like birth to like your adult existence, if you weren't the popular child all your life, you probably dealt with some level of bullying, whether it was in the household, in the classroom, on the playground, somewhere. So I've dealt with not necessarily bullying, but like people saying things and negative criticisms, etc., etc. So I kind of relate to some elements of Shatina's character. I never like reacted in the way that she did, but I kind of can relate to her in some of the things that she experienced, with people being cruel and people saying mean things and not realizing like the effect of their mean words and the mean things that they say. So I would say yes and no. Yes, it's inspired by a real person because I've dealt with these own experiences in my life, but no, like not in the way that she reacted. So that's where the entertainment and the fun comes in. Next question is asking, what do I think will happen, or this is the last question, should I say, is asking, what do I think will happen to the characters after the book has ended? For that one, y'all gonna have to read the finale. So the finale is coming on December 20th. So if you have not started the series, you got like 6 days. There's 6 books, you got 6 days. They're all quick reads. You can read the first one today, the next one tomorrow, and then by the time the 20th come around, you will be ready for the finale, and you'll see how it ends. And you'll see, and there'll be a nice little epilogue, let you know how it ends, etc., etc. So that was all all the questions. I just want to do this real quick just to introduce you to the series if you have not read it before, or if you have read it or have started it at least and haven't gotten to the finale yet, which is coming, you at least have a little bit of discussion of it beforehand. So to build up some anticipation. So hope you guys enjoyed this. You'll probably catch the replay because I did not announce this live. I just kind of did it. So hopefully y'all enjoyed this. If you have any questions, put the comment below and we'll talk soon. So see you.